It's very easy to get distracted by history and all these kings and the rise and fall of nations in Daniel chapter 11, but we need to realize that nothing surprises God. God knew history before history happened. He is before time, he is at the end of time, he knows all things. And that means that that is not only in this big picture of nations and history, but also in our lives. Everything that you're walking through right now, God already knew about. And he's not absent from it. He walks with you in the pain, in the joys, in the highs, in the lows, in the mountains, in the valleys, and all the things in between. He wants to walk with you every single step. And because he is sovereign over history, we can also just trust him, that he is sovereign over our lives. He has a purpose in the pain, and we need to look for him, to look and say, God, what are you doing? God, what's the plan for this? God, what is the purpose for this? But in the meantime of those questions, I trust you. I trust your word is true. I trust that you love me. I trust that you have a plan for this, and I'm just going to keep trusting you because there is nothing else I can do. This chapter starts talking about 3 kings, and then a 4th king, and then a mighty king, and you should recognize by the number 4 that that mighty king is Alexander the Great, because Alexander the Great rises to power. We learn this in chapter 2, in chapter 7, in chapter 8, but he has no successor, and so his empire breaks into 4 pieces. That's what it talks about when it says the 4 winds of heaven. It will not go to his descendants because he doesn't have any, nor will it have the power he exercised. His empire never had the power, the speed, the swiftness, the conquering that he did. The king of the south, which is mentioned first, is Egypt. It's led by a guy named Ptolemy. The king of the north is known as Egypt. It's the Seleucids. And so we have this battle back and forth. These 2 kingdoms are constantly fighting. But what's in the middle? Israel, the Holy Land. These 2 kingdoms try to have alliances through marriage. There's betrayals. There's one side gaining power and then losing it, the other side coming to power. We're really going to zoom in on 21 because we've talked about this guy before. But this is a guy whose name is Antiochus Epiphanes. He has a parallel to the Antichrist in the end times. He takes power through manipulation. He tries to conquer Egypt. And then he turns his anger and retaliation on Israel. In a very famous battle, the Roman navy beat Antiochus Epiphanes, and the story goes, the Roman general drew a circle around Antiochus and demanded to know whether he would surrender and pay tribute to Rome. And from then on out, he took his orders from Rome and he was under Roman dominion. This happens during the intertestamental period, the time between the Old Testament and the New, where there is no revelation, there is no word of God, there is no prophecies being spoken. And that makes sense because when we hit the New Testament, Roman Empire is in charge. Antiochus is a terrible guy, and he takes all of his anger and all of his retaliation on the Jewish people. He stops sacrifices, he stops worship, he sets up pagan idols in the temple, he slaughters a pig on the altar. All of this is the abomination of desolation, which again has fulfillment near and far. We're going to talk about this in the end times. Future ruler called the Antichrist, and he's going to exalt himself, he's going to stop sacrifices, and he's going to want everybody to worship him. And again, this is the end times, and there are a lot of different people who believe different things about when this is going to happen, or that thing is going to happen, or this thing is going to happen. There's a lot of debates, but we need to realize that God is sovereign over history, and we are on the winning side. It says, yet he will come to his end, and no one will help him. God controls history. Evil powers come and go. God is sovereign over all of them. And this world can feel chaotic, but God isn't surprised by any of it. Evil may look like it's winning, but it's not the end of the story. And this is a lot of history, but everything that was written in this chapter came true. And it's going to come true in the end times. And so if you want to dive deep and you want to be like, when did this happen? Who is this talking about? A commentary that I love is called Enduring Word. And you just can Google search Enduring Word, Daniel 11, and you can dig deep. Because if I dug deep, this video would be like 40 years long. If you need any other sources, or if you have any other questions, let me know. Send me a message, put it in the comments, tell me what you're loving and learning, and I will see you tomorrow for the conclusion of our Book of Daniel Bible study. Love you guys.